Hello and welcome to another Raggies, this time a pub review. Pub/craft beer launch. So Friday just gone, the 30th of September 2022. Blue Monkey Brewery in Giltbrook in Nottinghamshire border were advertising their craft beer launch. I think it was 7 or 8 beers. It's actually 8, I know that now. 8 beers across a multitude of styles. Anyway, got there. They've got food from Savage. I think it wasn't Savage Garden. No, that's banned. Savage Meat or something. A couple of portaloos outside. I've been to Blue Monkey when there've been issues with toilets back in 2016. Lots of seating outside, gazebos for the impending weather, and it did do what it meant to do. So I got there, and a couple of the brewers said hello, which was really nice. With someone with anxiety, although you wouldn't know it half the time. Especially when I've had a drink, you wouldn't know it still. But for someone with anxiety, it was nice because straight away you start to calm down. Show me the beers. So you got a big fridge, big double fridge. You got the shop on one side. You got the shutters open. I only presume that was for the day of the for that moment. I would presume normally that it's a working brewery. And lots of casks outside. Wow, they had a multitude of casks. Obviously, sell a lot of good beer. Yeah, big double fridge with cask beer in. They had the beer on shelf, on display. They had sheets with the beer itself. Say there are the 8 beers. I'm doing a beer all, but that's another day. We'll go through the beers in depth on another day. But yeah, there's the beers. And like I said, there was a ginger pale ale, New Hampshire IPA, peach ghost, a New Zealand pale ale, a Belgian cherry stout, a Mexican mole stout, a Rausch beer, and a Congo craft lager. So I will go through in detail another day. This is just primarily to review what went off. Got there on the day. There were 3 cask beers on. So and the price of the beer was £2 a half, £4 a pint. That's bloody good for craft beer. For a traditional beer, I think the traditional beer was actually cheap. I think it was £3 a pint and £1.50 a half. And again, that's a good price. But yeah, £4 a pint, £2 a half. You can't go wrong with them prices. I'm telling you now. If they're introducing this into their pubs, and personally, I think a Blue Monkey craft beer bar with a bit of cask on in the background, but in a bar that's made for purpose, where you have the keg directly underneath the bar that feeds the kegs. So the kegs are there, obviously your CO2 and whatnot, but it's directly underneath. So you've got these key kegs these days. Don't ask me. I'm not a brewer. I'm not somebody who works in the brewery or a pub, so I don't know the ins and outs. But let me tell you, my idea. So, key kegs directly under the bar. We've got them at both my hotels under the bar, and it works well. So that you can have a line of them, and all your wires and that, and the kegs on. I mean, to change the keg, obviously you've got to mess about. But most sessions you'll probably get through a session without changing the keg. But casks. Now, you imagine a self-built, like a cabinet, and a good mate of mine, Andy, gave this idea. And it's like a cabinet with like an aircon unit that feeds into that cabinet with the casks already there. And then all you do is you pull the cask forward, so you have it double length, double thinged. You pull it forward, and then you just pour directly, no wastage. So just my idea for anybody from Blue Monkey watching. And if you're ever thinking of doing a craft beer bar, sure, TSP. But you know what I mean. Yeah. So walked in, the very great fellow Ian one of the bosses there, showed me round to the canning area. And then I asked him a question. And it's a question that I'm sure a lot of us ask. How do you know our date on a can? Because I know some breweries, they put 3 months on a can. Some breweries put a year on a can. And I asked him the question, because I always wanted to know anyway. And he says, we put 6 months on the can. I says, right. So how do you know? How do you know? Beer's going to last 6 months. And in their processors and the equipment they've got, it monitors all those factors like oxygen and whatnot. So they know the precision amount of time it can stand in a can. And I thought, bloody hell, that's rather nifty. And I was impressed with that. Walk around into the canning area. 2 barrels at the top, rum barrel aged, bourbon barrel aged silverback. You've got the impressive canning area. So you feed the cans in one side, it goes through. Obviously the beer goes in, for want of a better word. Comes out, labelled, and then obviously I think the caps must go on as well in some sort of that process. And then at the other end, so it's a 3-man operation. 1, feed the cans. 2, keep an eye on the middle bit. 3, bang them cans into boxes. Oh wow, super impressive. Good bit of kit. I don't suppose it was cheap. I've heard rumours about how expensive it was. Not for me to tell rumours, but yeah, super impressive. And on the bar, they had Congo Craft Lager on a big double keg thing, hand pull. And they also had the New Hampshire, the Peach Margarita Ghost, the Rausch beer, and I think it was Junior Ape. I didn't review that. Should have done. I reviewed most of them while I was there. And then I reviewed 2 cans out of the fridge. So the Mexican Mole and the, 3 cans actually, Ginger Pale and the Belgian Cherry reviewed out of the fridge. But the whole day, it was a cracking day. Great organisation from Blue Monkey. The staff were all really, really talkative. From, I presume, a lady in charge. The sales and marketing staff, down to the brewers and, all the other staff. Every single member of staff was very talkative, willing to talk. It's not always easy talking to the public, and about beer and yeah, and for me, the hopes and aspirations of the brewery are well out there, and I'm super looking forward to seeing where they go next. But yeah, I had an amazing day. Just wetting the whistle. Good members, a load of members of the public came. I obviously don't know everyone who's there. I know Cummy Beard was there. He likes his Blue Monkey, that lad does. And Red Dog Ales, he was there. Obviously, Red Dog Ales is also Red Dog Brewer, who's also a YouTuber in his own right. So he's got 1,500 subscribers. So in some way, 3 of Nottingham's beer reviewers were there, which was quite the thing, I was the only one actually reviewing on the day. No, Crummy did a bit as well. Bought his camera. Red Dog's now in the trade. He works for another brewery, local brewery, and he's got his own brewery, Red Dog Ales. But yeah, cracking day. I think when I look at the brewery, and I did say this to the people in charge, I did say that with what you've invested in, the staff across all sections, brewers, marketing, and that, social media is so important these days. You've got to stay relevant and keep the traditional stuff. The traditional stuff is a massive seller. The cask is massive. Keep bringing out the odd new cask beer or seasonal cask beer, but also craft, and having a mixed craft case, a new craft release every so often. And I mean, at some stage, I dare say they'll have a core craft range. Congo, New Hampshire, um, New Zealand Pale, and the Rausch beer would be the four permanent core lines that I would think. Certainly the first three on that list, certainly the lager, certainly the New Hampshire, and certainly the New Zealand Pale Ale will, in my eyes, from a an outside viewpoint looking in, will be their core range. And it's interesting because it, you've got to modernise to stay in the game. And look around the country, a lot of trad breweries have gone craft, and it's about doing it in the right way, putting the effort in, differentiating yourself from your craft stuff, from your cask and your trad beers. And this is a good way of doing it. Most people these days look at stuff in bottles as trad and in cans as craft. It's not always the case, to be fair, but it does seem to be the case these days. And yeah, I think they're going to do well. And they've got the pubs to support it. Like I say, a couple of craft beer bars in the right place will go down a treat, although you still want cask on. Yeah, get the punters in. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I live in Sherwood, Nottingham. We're crying out for a bit of Blue Monkey. We've got Arnold. Arnold's good. And what Blue Monkey do, if you didn't know Blue Monkey, check them out, bluemonkeybrewery.com. But if you didn't know Blue Monkey, they have 4 pubs at the moment. They're all out called Organ Grinder. And they double as coffee venues. You can go in, dog-friendly venues. All on a blue theme. I think is it Loughborough, Newark, Arnold, of course, and Canning Circus in the City Centre. And I think in the right area, certainly the likes of Sherwood near me, they will join an area. Sherwood is one of the, and Mapletop, from my area of the city anyway, that I know, they are 2 of the most up and coming, and also West Bridgford. West Bridgford's always going to be that sort of area. Areas for craft beer, to launch a craft beer pub. Because of the pubs that are already up there, you're going to add to that, especially with that organ grinder approach in the daytime flowing into a night time of craft and cask. Interesting. Obviously, I don't work for Blue Monkey, but I can see where, from an outside perspective, where to go. Anyway, I've got to run because I'm going to get a bollocking from the other eye. But I had a fantastic day down there, so my hat's off to each and every person at Blue Monkey, Crummy, Red Dog Ales, and the other people that were there. Some lovely people that spoke to that day, talking about beer. As you do, beer brings people together, and it was a great day. Cheers all. See you soon.